Welcome back, everybody. It is the 4 o'clock hour on Business Monday. I'm Josh Fenton here at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. Talk about innovation. Saul Kaplan's on before Gary Sass. This is the most dynamic innovation ever to take place in business discussion on live digital media. Congratulations on another successful BIF conference. The summit is over.
Yeah.
Sold out again. Quick highlights.
It was just a remarkable 2 days. I'm still trying to sort it all out. 500 innovation junkies from around the world right here in Providence.
Who's the furthest away?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand got the Man Miles Award. Can you imagine? All the way from New Zealand. So thrilled to have everybody here, still trying to unbundle all the insights and just hearing all kinds of great things from people who came and are energized. For me, just so many different forms of storytelling.
Yep.
You know, not just the stand up and share a story type, but we had spoken word poets, we had musicians, we even had, I gotta say, one of the highlights was Quentin Robinson. He calls himself a movement artist. He uses dance to get people energized and as a catalyst for change. And he got us up out of our seats. He even got me
you going.
He
Yes.
even got me up on the stage. He manipulated my arms through a dance move, but he even got me to dance, so there is hope.
Yeah, that's right.
There is hope. But it was really inspiring.
Any unintended consequences? Anything that really you didn't anticipate? Different from other years? Anything different from other years?
Well, what gets better every year, the storytellers, the speakers are always amazing.
Right.
And we'll be posting the videos so you can see them on the BIF website here shortly. But what gets better every year is the audience. People who know why they're there. They know what to expect. They know it's not a boring business conference, that
right.
We're going to force people to think differently and to do the hard work to figure out the patterns, and we call it random collisions of unusual suspects, to get people to collide with and connect with people they wouldn't normally interact with. And it just gets better every year. Every year people tease me and say, this is the best BIF ever. But I can't argue with that. Because the audience, the participants, just get better and better. We talk about it more like a community than an event, and we treat it that way. And that's why we get as much out of it as anybody else who comes.
It should not be lost that both, I think, Inc. and Forbes over the past couple of years have named it the BIF Summit one of the most important, innovative business meetings in the country. Over the past couple of years.
We're always flattered. We're always flattered when somebody calls attention to what we're doing nationally. But it's just pure inspiration. Gets you thinking about problems in a completely different way. Gets you to think about ways to collaborate with people you would never, ever think about collaborating. And it's all about the human side of innovation for us. That we love technology, we're geeks like everybody else, but it's all about putting technology in service of better experiences for us, for customers, for citizens, for students, for patients in healthcare. And so we're all revved up and ready to go at it for the next year as we plan for the next summit and put some of the ideas to work in our projects at BIF. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
As always, it is
Thank
a
you.
remarkable event. And it's one of those, I put it there with sort of jazz festival, folk festival, those ultra cool things that could be anywhere in the world, but we're lucky to have them in Rhode Island.
I'm thrilled to do it here in Providence. If people come here and they get lit up by our beautiful city of Providence, and they think we're this incredible, innovative place because they don't know any better. Because they don't know what's going on.
So let's talk about that for a second. We just came back from Toronto, Canada. Very beautiful city, remarkably large, bigger than Chicago. They are much like Providence in one way, cool mix of architecture. They have something different. They actually have growth. And they're building lots and lots of towers.
Yeah.
Right? We're stuck, right? We're in this frustrating, long 2-year debate of whether we should build one tower. In Toronto, first of all, there's about 700 towers, and there's probably 50 of them going up. In some cases, they're tearing down old towers to put up new towers, literally. 20-story building going down, 40-story building going up. Why can't we love our preservation, enjoy it, protect it, enhance it, but also be allowed to actually build things?
Yeah, well, first of all, Toronto is a very, very cool place. It has kind of an innovator's mindset, a beginner's mindset. It has this, let's experiment and try new things. They're willing to think about different kinds of civic engagement, different models, and so this is what innovation culture is about. Knowing that we don't have all the answers, knowing that we're going to have to explore and test new approaches, and you see that in the people, you see that in the institutions there. Not that they don't have people who lean against change and innovation like anywhere else, but there's a growing community there, and a lot of programs that catalyze it, both public and private, that energize that kind of constant experimentation, and we need to keep working to build that here.
In a global city, I mean, from people from all over the world. Canadians might be the minority.
That's true. It's a real melting pot.
It is a real melting pot. You go to some places, literally, sure, you're in New York City. You go to other places, you feel like you're in New Delhi. And it's really an amazing collection of people, and the energy is at peak level.
I saw some of the pictures you posted, spending some time there. It's a wonderful place to visit, and you could see why people really enjoy living, learning, working, and creating there. We can do that here. We do that in pockets. We just need to make it more central to how we think of ourselves. Right? We don't have a growing population, and that's okay. We only have 1,000 square miles, not counting the bay, right? And so it's not that our population needs to get much bigger. It's that we've got to think about ways to add value to the economy, that isn't about growing population and consumer demand. That's about creating value and exporting it out to solve problems outside of our
Let me ask a question. We differed on the Paw Sox financing. I'm not sure on fame. Do we fear failure so much that it's stifling us? That the idea of, not another bad deal, or not another tower that's, or our first tower since 1923, that it's just absolutely got a stranglehold on us. That change is so fearful that we can't get out of our own way.
Sometimes I do worry that we can't get out of our own way. I call it small state syndrome, right? We don't think we can play big, so we have this cynicism, and we have this, let's protect what we already have, right? And that's no way to, in a rapidly changing world, where you've got to add value to your economy if you're going to create higher wage jobs. And we keep pointing at everyone else to do it, and we don't realize that it's our responsibility, the people that live here, right, to take some ownership for the kind of state we want, the way we behave with each other, the way we create the conditions for exploring and testing new ways to solve problems. Because if we could solve our own problems in an innovative way, we could structure it in a way where people and organizations would invest and come from out of the state, because this is the small place where it can happen. But we have to flip our size into our advantage rather than a disadvantage, where we have such small scale that we don't have the same resources that Toronto or Boston, or New York you can have. But that's okay, because if you're about innovation, being small is really good, and we have to get much more comfortable and excited about our size as our strategic weapon, our secret sauce. Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit, jump to Seattle, which is now coming to New York, which is coming to everywhere, and will put all retailers out of business. Let's talk about Amazon Go. About a year ago, I want to say, the first Amazon Go store opened in Seattle. it was a concept store. It really was just an idea. It wasn't going to be replicated. And it is a staffless store in which shoppers pick up a censored bag and do all their purchasing. Just throw things in and walk out the door. They never see a cashier. They never do anything else. And there's no employees.
Right.
And it was supposed to just be a one-off thinking process. And now it's looking like it may get scaled, and maybe that Whole Foods over on Waterman might go away, and the one at University Heights might go away, and equally, all those jobs might go away.
Yeah.
This is the new reality.
Yeah, and what's really, I think, important and what we can learn from by looking at Amazon Go, I mean, it's really a prototype, right? It goes to this notion of experiment all the time.
Right.
Try something new. Take new capabilities. Try to solve a customer's problem with them. If it works, do more of it.
Right.
If it doesn't, use the technology in a different way. And Amazon and Jeff Bezos takes that to heart. It turns out, that they prototyped it in Seattle. They had several Amazon Go's there. They weren't the same.
Right.
On different street corners,
that's
they
right.
were trying a different model to see what caught on, to see what consumers liked. And now they're talking about several thousand Amazon Go's. I don't think that it completely displaces what's out there. I think it's in addition to.
Really?
I think what they're going to do, I believe what they're going to do is keep playing with the technologies to improve the experience of consumers. There are some consumers that are going to want, something that's better than a convenience store. I mean, talk about convenience store. I mean, what happened to the convenience in convenience stores, right? Do you actually
If you don't think it's going to replace
Right.
Whole Foods, I've got some land on 195
No,
parcel
no,
that
I-
I'd like to sell to you.
I think what Amazon's going to do is going to have several different models and
Yeah,
lots of new
big,
experiments.
big, large,
Some
and
people are
small.
going to want the larger place where there are more choices and more options. Some people are going to want the smaller place that I can just bop into and get. Those technologies, though, the capabilities of how you go through the checkout process, if it works, they're going to try it in all the different formats.
Are you holding on to your Almac stock? Because I would sell quickly.
No, don't take me the wrong way. Traditional supermarkets are being disrupted to smithereens as we talk. I mean, that's pretty clear. If you're an incumbent supermarket, you better be playing with these new technologies and changing the customer experience, or you are going to be put out of business by Amazon Go, Whole Foods, some new version of what Jeff Bezos is experimenting with, because he is all about the customer experience, and if he can solve a customer's problem with a different approach, he's going to try it. We all grew up in this industrial era where you get your cookie cutter these things, you stamp them out, and they all have to work exactly the same way. He doesn't feel that way, and I think that's the beauty of his innovation process.
When
and
you're
we can learn
worth
from that.
$110 billion, yes, you don't have to worry about everything
understand.
working exactly
But he
the
didn't
same
get
way.
to be 100. He didn't
is-
get to be that big without that mindset. I'll tell you right now.
100%.
Yep.
Agree 100%. But I think you're being a little Pollyannish if you don't think.
Who, me?
Yes, you. That this is going to be the most painful, most disruptive, and most economically transforming impact into retail in the history of the world.
Oh, I'm not Pollyannish about that. That's already happening. That's not some grand
He
forecast.
didn't buy all these
Like-
Whole Foods locations for no reason at all.
Yeah.
He's got bigger ideas than
Of course he does.
selling prime
He-
rib at
he wants to
$27 a pound.
He wants to completely transform the shopping and buying experience across every category on the planet. And so if you think that your sector is safe from this, you're wrong. And so you better start experimenting with transforming consumer value, or you're going to get disrupted by Amazon and others.
I know you've got some time constraints. Last issue, it's looking more and more like Northern Virginia is going to be the location of HQ2, and Boston is going to lose out. Is that a function of not that Washington is any wonderful place to try and move from place to place, but is that any reflection on the fact that Boston, literally, you cannot move from place to place?
Well, first of all, Boston's already a winner in the Amazon world.
Yeah, they only
right?
picked up
Yeah,
2,000 high-paid jobs,
yeah,
and
no kidding.
Fall River got 2,000.
I didn't see that story, but I believe that. I said right from the
It
beginning,
seems to be moving in that direction.
go back and pull the tape.
I did.
You and I talked about
agree.
it,
I
and
agree.
what did I predict?
Yes.
They need to be near Washington. They need to play the political game better and better and better, because you can already see, kind of the antitrust. These guys are a monopoly.
Right.
We have to regulate, and so they're gonna. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they made a major investment in the Beltway,
Yeah.
right? Because not only is there an amazing talent base there,
Yeah.
right, and a huge and growing marketplace to serve, it's near our federal government, and Amazon and all of these tech leaders, frankly, need to do a much better job of having conversation with our country's leaders, or else they're going to get regulated in ways that they don't want, and that could be very painful for the innovation that they represent, on behalf of consumers.
Any other thoughts about what's going on in Rhode Island? You listen to the narrative of what's going on in the gubernatorial race, and I'm not looking for. And the sitting governor, who's had some success economically, says let's keep it going, but really doesn't articulate any big new ideas. And her opponents, Mayor Fung of Cranston, sort of is a much more traditional Republican conservative. And Joe Trillo, the independent, is a real small business advocate. No big ideas, no big concepts, no I want to transform this, I want to build that kind of thing. Yeah. Any thoughts?
Well, just, a couple. At the state level, no real surprises. I watched a lot of the General Assembly races. I even got involved a little bit, in the city council race. We had a friend who was running for a city council seat, Helen Anthony, who won. We were pretty excited about her representing them there. At the state level, I'm a fan of the governor's. I think that we've had a lot of progress. I think that the story is emerging. I think she has put a lot of the pieces in. I think she understands the innovation agenda. I like some of the things that are happening on the 195 land. And I don't hear any story, coming from one of the other candidates, that's any more than this national babble. I don't hear a Rhode Island specific, what are you going to do?
Right.
How are you going to change? Why are you better? And so I'm hard pressed to see that there's going to be any major change there, and I think that's the right thing for the state. Having said that, I would press the governor and everyone else to work harder and be more clear about what an innovation economy, culture, how we add some programming that gets us to feel a lot more confident about how we can all innovate in the space, and how not just the high wage jobs that only a few highly educated people get, but how do we become more inclusive in our innovation agenda, so that everybody in the state can benefit from that.
BIF, Amazon Go, HQ2, let's step it up here in Rhode Island. Saul Kaplan, thank
Josh,
you so much.
you're welcome.
We're going to be
Always.
right back. Just a short break. We're going to get the money man Gary Sass in here. We'll be talking about the financial implications of everything Saul Kaplan just talked about. We'll be right back.